Alright, today we're going to be jumping back into the Bitcoin price action, starting off with the reasoning for the recent pullback we just had, as well as talking about warning signs we do need to be watching out for since we are not out of the woods yet, and then finally why I do believe the most violent part of the rally is ahead of us, at least for altcoins, and why it is very likely for us to teleport up like I was talking about in my last video. So let's jump into this. You're probably noticing this is not TradingView right now. What I have here is the CoinInk and CoinGlass liquidation maps side by side behind my Discord. I was posting a lot in the Discord yesterday, so make sure to go join that Discord. Link is in the description down below if you do want to get more timely TA from me before I do post these videos. And last night was certainly no exception. I was posting a lot here in my Crane's TA channel, right? All of the stuff I was seeing on the charts, just some random bear flag stuff. I wouldn't really pay too much attention to that. But the main thing I was looking at here is when we had the structural change for Bitcoin, I suspected this downtrend would in fact end us up below these previous lows, sweeping that level, grabbing all of this nice liquidity you can see here at $68,000. And this liquidity map you can see here in my Discord is the CoinInk one that is in the top left currently. So you can see we did in fact come down to that 68K level, grabbed all of the liquidity very nicely, and have now started to bounce off that level. So that is awesome to see. Something to take note of is that these liquidity mapping softwares are just mathematically based. They're never 100% accurate, and that's why it's always good to compare it with others like CoinGlass over here on the right. You can see this also showed a large amount of liquidity that needed to be grabbed below these previous lows, and this is also showing us that we have grabbed a sufficient amount of the liquidity with even a secondary grab that I want to talk about right now. So now finally inside TradingView, we can see that we came down to this visible range value area low pretty perfectly. We had a lot of touches on that low, creating some poor lows in here, but we had that secondary grab of the liquidity, the sweep of the sweep, whatever you want to call it. You can see I put in the sweep level here, and for us to clean out that liquidity before heading up is what you want to see. That makes this low good. But also using our RSI and market cipher, you can see we did have some 1 hour bullish divergences going on, as well as something to take note of. We did have higher highs on our waves on the market cipher, but we did not have higher highs on RSI. So this is why I like having market cipher here. While I never rely on it, it can sometimes show me that there's an edge in bullish momentum in price action, even though RSI is not quite showing it. So as you can see here, right, waves are coming up. That's why it drew this green bullish divergence for me on the hourly time frame. So that is something else that is really good to see. Jumping over to the level identifier chart here on TradingView, we also found support on volume levels. This is a previous week's value area high, as well as a previous day naked point of control. So testing both of these made some sense and is another good thing to see and take note of that we had here on the price action. Currently you can see we're struggling with that daily value area high and weekly point of control, but this is all still being formed. The week just opened yesterday, thus making these resistance levels in here a little bit less strong and not something I'd be worried about. Our big point of resistance to be watching out for, and the only place I would potentially think about a short, would be back up at this sweep level we were talking about in my last video, with that naked daily point of control and value area high of the range, as well as it has vector imbalances, fair value gap, order block, all of that good stuff. There is some resistance up there, so we definitely want to be keeping our eye out on it. But really the more important thing we need to be watching out for like a bear case to play out here is the S&P, which we'll get into. But before we do get into that, I want to talk about some order flow and something else I posted in the Discord last night, which is what you are seeing right now inside of Trading Light. This is professional trading software that can show you more in-depth order flow footprint charts, as well as real-time heat maps for positions being placed in the order book. And what I did want to talk about is the bullish order flow we are seeing here on Trading Light and how we could have a short squeeze potentially primed in the market right now. So when we came up to make this last high around $70,000, you can see here where I've circled out price right here in the stop section. Longs were closing. How do I know this? Because open interest was going down and our delta down here on the bar statistics was not showing seller imbalances. Now starting from this high here into this entire downtrend, we had large amounts of shorts opening. You can denote this by open interest going up, cumulative volume delta going down, and our delta volume you can see is in the red continuously throughout this downtrend. These are shorts opening, forcing price down with your smart sellers right up here at the top, followed by a whole bunch of retail opening shorts in this area and throughout this entire range that we are in right now. At the lows, you can see open interest has continued to go up and cumulative volume delta has been going down in this area right here, as well as this area right here. So if I were to draw that out on price a little more specifically, that is right in here, as well as all of this right here was a whole bunch of shorts opening on Binance as well as Bybit. It has the same order flow, trust me, and they were shorting right into our sweep level where that liquidity was. The liquidity was in fact grabbed with a failed auction down here at the lows. Price did not accept lower. We are now squeezing these shorts denoted by open interest going down, and as soon as we do make a higher high here, that will confirm the low is in, and we have gone ahead and trapped the shorts. As long as it's not a swing failure into the single prints, that's another thing to be watching out for, right? If we just swing fail into single prints and then more shorts open up at this level, that's not bullish. But as long as we continue to get buyers stepping in here, squeezing these shorts here on Binance, and for us to start making higher highs and higher lows, that is your confirmation. This is your local low, and we do have potential for a pretty nice short squeeze to the upside here. This other stuff here is your TPO POC, that is your time-based point of control, which essentially is the same level as that naked volume point of control we were looking at on TradingView, as well as we had single print tails, which are imbalances from fast price action and places we can find support on. So we did find support where we should have found support. So yeah, this is another way to identify levels right there. And then finally over here on the right, I duplicated Binance. So this is the same exchange on this side. And I talked about how there was a decent failed auction, but it wasn't anything super convincing, as well as it being the first low at that sweep level without a bullish divergence. Most of the time you get these lows, they will sweep one more time before continuing to the upside, which is why I said may sweep again. And you can in fact see it did get swept again with another failed auction that is a little bit more convincing because we do have those seller imbalances in there, as well as it did go through and actually test these support levels we were just talking about. So now that we are done talking about this post in the Discord from last night, let's go on to the next one, which is the S&P did get rejected at the golden pocket. We're losing bullish structure. High time frame still looks sketch because we still have that good high, and we need to be watching out. What do we need to be watching out for? And that is that we don't start closing candles below this futures gap, and at a bare minimum, if we do come down to this sweep level, it is in fact a sweep and we get back above, and we do not just start closing candles down below 5,200. And luckily, as soon as I posted that, we did find buyers stepping in with haste, reversing this entire downtrend. And currently on the futures market here, you can see we are back up at that golden pocket, finding some resistance once again at that level. But the fact we never swept these highs, and that the golden pocket is going to be a really easy short for retail, I can bet you with the buying pressure we had down at these lower levels, that the market is at least going to hunt through the sweep level and get above the golden pocket, giving us a much more likely chance to actually backtest this into support and go for all-time highs once again on the S&P. And as soon as we break this high here, I think you're going to see fear from smart money disappear, and you're going to have big money willing to step back into the market and pump those riskier assets such as altcoins and absolutely send them to the upside. So that's what we want to be watching out for. Can S&P break all-time highs? If it does, that is where your altcoins are going to teleport, but we do want to be watching this carefully because there is still the bear case. We do not get back above that good high, and we do, sweep liquidity and come back down once again, and we want to continue to stay vigilant in the markets if this were to play out here. But yeah, overall, while it was scaring me a little bit earlier today, this reaction we had off those lower levels is really good to see. And a reason we could have had this dump on the S&P is that the dollar did in fact find very nice support back on this value area high of a macro range. So this is another thing we need to be watching out for. Markets are still very discorrelated from the dollar, and if the DXY is to continue up here, there is still that bear case that the top is in for markets. So I don't really like how bullish the dollar is looking here, but we were expecting to find support on this level. Now we just need to see if it's going to actually roll over and break that support, or if this is indeed going to make higher highs and higher lows, and we will just have to wait and see what actually plays out here on the dollar. Lastly, we'll talk about altcoins real quick. You can see Bitcoin dominance has continued down even with Bitcoin going down. So that is great to see, and is a signal that your altcoin market is getting primed for takeoff. And then Total 3 right now is still just battling with this golden pocket. But like I said in my last video, assuming this golden pocket does break, this is where you are just going to teleport to the upside. And I would bet you this does in fact play out, and we do see the massive altcoin season we've all been waiting for very, very soon now. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, make sure to join my Discord, links in the description down below. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.